interesting for a lot of people, but very interesting for us and exciting to join. How many, let's see, Urdu? How many people? Okay. Arabic? Of course. French? I'm the VP of Digital Transformation at Microsoft Arabia, and I will be joining you today with my colleagues, Mohammed Saleh, who's leading our MIA Health in Saudi Arabia, Middle East and Africa. And we are joined by a very special guest, a champion, a hero for me, and for all of us in Microsoft, Mr. Khalid Hazem, who's been with us in Microsoft for a while, and have developed or blessed with a disease that prohibited his movement, where gradually he started to be sitting on a wheelchair and not able to move one of his hands. And that's why he's our hero, because he's coming every day using technologies to empower him. And that's why today he will be telling the story of how can we make the world more inclusive and utilizing those assistive technology and more accessible. With that, Mohammed have a very interesting agenda for us, so I'll hand it over to you, Mohammed.
Thanks, Zainab. Good morning, assalamu alaikum, buongiorno, good morning. So I will start immediately by introducing our full agenda of today. Khalid, you can go for the agenda, please. So today we have this agenda, but before we start, I need to just highlight that Khalid Hazem, he's my friend and my brother, and we spent like 22 years in Microsoft. Khalid Hazem was ex-runner, and now he is one of our heroes within Microsoft, because he is now disabled and he stays in his home, but still he's doing his job as before. So on that stage, I need to say to Khalid, thanks very much. You give us inspiration, you give us also a passion to do our job. And our agenda today will go through quickly, because we have a full session about demos, how we utilize. For Khalid, it is must to have. For us, it is nice to have. It's mixed between both of us. And we'll start with accessibility introductions, digital accessibility, why we are introducing the digital accessibility and the AI accessibility, and what we need to do to enable, by the way, the accessibility. Because accessibility is not coming from disabled people only, it's a two-way communication. So how we can communicate directly to the disabled people and how they communicate with us. It's not only from his side, it's from our side. For example, sign language, how we communicate. Take the sign language, make it text. How we can take the text to sign language, because he needs to understand us. And finally, and we'll go for demo. And demo will do all of us. And by the way, the technology in your hand today, and we'll prove it from Microsoft that you have a tool to communicate with disabled people. Can you flip the slide, Khalid?
Oh.
Go ahead, Khalid.
This one? Okay. Well, first of all, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. And I really appreciate the kind words that Zainab and Mohammed said. I'm very humbled with that. And inshallah, sooner or not later, I'll make it to Saudi Arabia again and be able to demo in person and talk to you guys in person about that. Accessibility is something that we all should think about because it is something can happen anytime to anybody. And I just want to shed some light about what accessibility is all about in the beginning, just to give you a flavor of how Microsoft view accessibility from our point of view. So there is actually 3 levels of disabilities. It could be a permanent disability, just like me. I cannot move anymore, so I am permanently disabled. Or it could be a temporary disability. You injured your arm, you had a surgery, something like that, that you could not use part of your body or part of your tools like eyes and ears and body to do an action for a while. And that the last one maybe will surprise you, but it could be a situational disability, such as if you are a new parent. Imagine a mommy or a daddy holding a baby and trying to do Control Alt Delete to do something with the computer. That requires two hands, right? And that's going to be a disabled person as far as the technology is concerned. So it's a situational. It could be a situational issue. So that's the kind of levels of disabilities that we have. The other category that we look at from Microsoft, we look at 6 kind of disabilities categories. Of course, vision is one of them. It could be low vision, or you have colorblind, or you're totally blind. That's a disability. Neurodiversity, like autism, dyslexia, that's a disability. Mobility, it could be a disability, just like, for example, I have the mobility issue. Hearing, it could be an issue, for example, permanent deafness or temporary hearing loss. That could be a disability. The 5th one is speech. God forbid, if any of us get a stroke, then sometimes speech become an issue. Or ALS, it could be a person with an ALS cannot be able to express her or his feelings in a nicely words. And of course, the mental health. And after COVID-19 hit us, mental health become a very, very big issue in our societies. Depression, anxiety, name it, it is hitting us all the time. And of course, just wanted to give you just a little bit of a flavor, what we have in MEA, Middle East and Africa, from a disability point of view. We have up to 200 million people with disability from those categories and those levels that I'm talking about. And that's from a report from United Nations Disability Statistics. And if you take a look at it, if you look at, for example, Saudi Arabia, we have 1.5 million, 7.1% of the popularity. UAE, 2%, 200K. Morocco is 1.7. Look at Pakistan, 30 million, 13%. If you take a look at Nigeria is 25 million. So you're talking about a big chunk of people in our society that we really need to pay attention to and give them a fair share in this life, right? It just makes sense to do that. And the why, it comes easily once you understand some of the few of the equation in this world. It has been proven that if you hire people with disability, there is a chance to make 28% higher revenue in this organization. And if you hire people with disability, it's most likely you'll have 2 times higher net income for that organization and 20% better performance on economic profit margin. So this type of people it's been ignored, but once it's get utilized, they see the huge benefit out of it. The dark side of it is, unfortunately, is 1 out of 10 people has access to the assistive technology that they need, which is not fair. Worldwide, there's more than 1 billion people with disability. So imagine if we put those 1 billion people in action, we can benefit a lot from that. And that's a fact of life. 60% of the employees with disability, they hide it. They don't show it. It's invisible. We don't know about it. So you assume your next door neighbor or next door employee or the one who you're sitting next to right now is hunky-dory. But in reality, there's a disability that is invisible, which is pity. And that's why digital accessibility, it's a must. And the reason why organizations and government and big companies are looking into it, because they look at it from 4 categories. From an employee point of view, they wanted to recruit those talent people. They want to have an inclusive solutions for employees. They need to build a lot of readiness for that. The CSR from an organization or a government point of view, you need social impact. You need coaching, reskilling, compliance, digital for all, without any discrimination, right? When you create your organization, whether it's a government or it's a private company, when you create a website, have you thought about making it accessible for all? Is your website is accessible for all or not? And the businesses, increase businesses solutions for all, create innovative AI for cloud, right? I give you a little story quickly before we start. In California, they tried to build a sign language glove solution where they spent a lot of money on this glove to make the sign language for anybody. But the project, even though it was the greatest project in my opinion, it failed miserably because they forgot or they did not include people that are deaf or have hearing issues in the design phase. So whoever designed it was a person who can hear. So he or she did not know the real challenges. They did not realize that sign language is not just only hands. It's about facial expressions. It's about body language. It's about some of the grammars. So the project failed because of that. So you really need to include people with disability in the early stages in the designs. And that's why Microsoft has been doing that for the last few years. Microsoft committed on that. Microsoft decided to build a complete AI for accessibility. And it wanted to focus on 4 areas: in education, in community, in employment, and home. Moreover, they have that program that will hire people with disability in the, like I said, early engineering and design phases, and in the testing, and in the using part. And right now, Microsoft is offering this program, this grant. It will expire in November. It will be ended in November 4th for anybody to go apply and get some funds to create certain applications that are low-cost assistive technology to help people in the world to use it. So if any of you is interested, the site will be available after that. You can click on that, bring this grant to build a solution for that. They are open to listen to all ideas. Right. Now, what are we doing from a Microsoft from accessibility? We split it to 2 pieces, right? We split it to digital environment pieces and application development piece. The digital environment is purely about features and products, features in our products and services that we have. From an application development point of view, we are giving inclusive design guidance. We are providing Azure AI for that purpose. We have accessibility inside website to test your website and application to see if it's accessible. And if you just take a look at it from one more angle, this is the kind of thing we look at from Microsoft. When it comes to digital environments, we have all those features that you see in front of you that I will start doing with my friends and colleagues here in the hall and show you some of it to give you a flavor. And from an application point of view, we have the inclusive design. We have the Power App completely designed to be accessible for people with disability, Azure services accepted inside, and we also have hardware tools that allows us to use our products, our hardware products. If you have this, I use it myself. I use the Microsoft Adaptive Kit because I cannot use my right hand, so I use some of the stuff they gave me to be able to open up my laptop and things like that. And there's the keyboard stickers and all the stuff. So in a nutshell, Microsoft look at it from a digital environment type of thing. So what we can provide in our features out of the box by the beginning of the design, it's not an add-on, it's part of the design, and also how we can help the developers build an application to do that. So this is the what we are doing from a Microsoft, from a digital accessibility point of view. Also, I want to look at it from a different way. I want to look at those features and products. How can they tell me if I am, for example, blind or I am deaf? How can I utilize those? We will demo a couple of those things here. All right. I personally, I just wanted to share with you, just FYI, I use some of those features on a daily basis. Here's a list of some of them. I use accessibility checker heavily, focus mode. I use dictate and voice typing heavily. I use keyboard prediction all the time. I create a larger cursor indicator to see it and locate it, and the list goes on. That's in a nutshell. I don't want to bore you too much with slides as much as I want to show you a few of the things that we do. And we're going to jump to the demos for now. First one we wanted to show you, my friends, is let's say I wanted to write an email or I wanted to type a letter, right? I shouldn't assume that everybody can read it. It's just normal. So if I open, for example, a Microsoft document here, just a little one right there. Yeah, let's take a look at this one here. And let's say I wanted to open this one.
Khalid, I think we need to show your screen. So,
I'm sorry?
Just a second.
1 second, I think we need to show your screen. So,
Your screen is here, and I need my screen.
so this is Khalid's screen. And we need the second screen. So where is Fabian? What is
Should I continue?
No, 1 second.
1 second.
Sure.
This screen to be presented here.
What screen is that? No, can you read? This is your screen. Yeah. So continue on, Khalid.
I'm sorry, carry on? Okay.
Yeah, carry on. Carry on.
Okay, so this is a Microsoft Word document, for example. Let's give you a few scenarios of how we can make things better for ourselves and for the others. Let's say I want to send this to Zainab and Muhammad. I have no idea if Zainab or Muhammad, they are going to forward it to somebody else or not. So I shouldn't assume just because Zainab and Muhammad can read it, that everybody can read it. So what I do, Microsoft provided in all our products, is what we call accessibility checker, right? Accessibility checker, it goes into review. And once you click on it, it will take that document and it will say, okay, there's a couple of problems that you have here, and we'd like to tell you about it so you can fix it. This way it can become accessible for everybody. And look at it and say, oh, you have two issues here. One of them is there's a word in your document that is hard to read for people that are colorblind, or they have sensitivity, or they cannot have a good vision that can read that kind of color, which is the word Microsoft right there. You see it here, right there. So it's very, very grayish, light gray. It's just not gonna make all people read it. So all you have to do is just change the font to that, and this issue is gone. The other one is they said, listen, you have a picture in there, and if I am a blind person and I'm having read aloud, or I have a narrator, or Joe's is reading it, it will look at this picture and has no clue what to tell that blind person what is this picture is all about. So you need to put an alternative text behind that picture, so when the narrator reads it, tells them there's a picture and this is about blah, 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 blah. So if I just go there and say, okay, it's not a decorative, no, it's not just for fun, I need some information in it. Our AI tried to give you some insight based on what that AI sees, but instead I'm going to change and say it is Microsoft icons, for example. And just say enter and close it. And this document now is accessible already. I can actually send it to Zainab and to Muhammad, where I would not assume they only people they're gonna read it. Somebody else can read it, which is a blind person or person with eye vision. So that's the one first quick. The other one is, let's say I'm sitting here and I'm having issues. I have dyslexia and I cannot read this very well based on that structure. So all I have to do is say view immersive reader, and it will change it to that look and feel so people with dyslexia can read it. That's another quick one that I wanted to show you. One more thing that Khalid Hazem use all the time is I hate to type with one hand because my other hand is not working very well. So I use dictate all the time. Once I use dictate, I just talk to this thing and it just types for me 90% accuracy. This is a test, and I'm trying to demo dictate to my friends, period, new line. New line. Of course, I can switch to another language and do that, and I'll show you in a minute. Or I can sit down here and say, you know what, I cannot read this stuff, so I will go here and I'm gonna say review, and I wanted to read it for me.
That's why we announced the next phase of our accessibility journey, a new technology-led 5-year commitment to create and open doors to.
So that's, in a nutshell, something I can do on a daily basis, where I can type through talking to the machine. I can read through the machine. I can make sure that when I send something outside, when I communicate, is properly accessible for everybody. That's a small little demo I wanted to show you. And I hope it wasn't that boring. The other thing is, let's take a look at Microsoft subtitles. You all are sitting here listening to me, and everybody's okay with that, and no problem. But what if I want to put some subtitle? And this happened to us in several places. When we go, for example, to Turkey, and I wanted to speak in English, and the audience don't understand my English very well, then I put Turkish subtitle. Or if I want to put it in Arabic, if I go to another country in Arabic and they want me to put the subtitle in Arabic or Urdu or French or name it, it is there. So as simple as, I'll just say the word subtitle here. The spoken language will be, for example, English.
So this is why I asked for how many languages we have here.
We have a good chunk of languages. I can get back to you on this one. But take a look at this one, for example. Those are the languages that we have. Arabic, Danish, Dutch, English, Finnish, Hindi, Japanese, Korean, Norwegian, and the list goes on. And the subtitle, should we put, I don't know, Urdu, English? You guys decide.
Urdu, maybe.
Urdu.
Let's try
Okay.
Urdu.
Oh, I tried Arabic, but I will stop and do Urdu in a minute, okay? And the people who speaks Urdu, please. I put not Arabic even. Okay, Arabic. So if I go subtitle here and I just turn it on, the AI part has to read it for a minute and then start showing. Because the AI will try to understand what am I going to be talking, so it will be faster. So it takes some minute to listen to me, and they will start showing that
See, this is
voice
Arabic.
of mine, that words I'm
Live.
talking about in that language. So it's showing now in Arabic what I'm talking about, and the audience can understand what I'm saying. So if I stop here and change into another language, like Zainab said, let's put Urdu. If I put
We need to give them a mic to comment.
Urdu right there, and forgive me if I don't understand what is happening, but we'll try Urdu now. I'll start the subtitle, and this is just a demo to show you that I can speak in English and people with Urdu can understand what I'm talking about by reading the subtitle.
Khalid, just a second.
Yeah, no, it's working perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Urdu,
alhamdulillah.
we have our muscles here, Khalid, to understand Urdu. So,
Excellent.
can we
Excellent. And let's
can
put-
we try French? Because Fabiano is here, I'm right?
Let's put the speaking language as Arabic now. And let's put the subtitle to be in English.
I think, Khalid, we want to test French. So let's the speaking language be French, and the subtitles English
English.
for everyone to understand.
I don't speak French, my
No,
friends.
we have.
no,
we have
we
Fabiano.
have a volunteer. We have Fabian.
But he has to be sitting next to me to talk.
No,
It has to
let
be
us try,
presented
Khalid.
here.
Let's use French.
I cannot do French, like I said, because Mohammed, if he speaks French, will do French
No.
with the caption, Mohammed.
No, we have a volunteer here. We have Fabian with us. He will speak French.
Yeah, but the problem is only me can speak it because
Because we
I'm the
need to-
presenter.
It's your laptop.
Yes,
It's your
laptop, yes.
Okay. So let's try that in another one.
Assalamu alaikum
Thank
wa
you,
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أنا أتكلم العربية وأنتم تقرؤونها
I'm
بالإنجليزي.
talking Arabic. Can you read it in English?
So, I just wanted to show you that quickly, that we can do that in any language. So that's a way, my friends, to communicate between people that have difficulties communicating otherwise. That's a quick one. Let me close this for a minute. And let me go to another website. And this one, I wanted to show you something a bit different than
Khalid, I will ask
Than
the
the
audience. I will ask
Yeah,
the
the
audience
normal.
to start.
This one, for example, I will present it in English, right? But what I want Muhammad to help me with and Zainab is to show you guys that when I'm presenting in English, you can actually see the PowerPoint in your own language. You can see it in Arabic, you can see it in French, you can see it in Urdu, in Hindi, any language you want. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say present in Teams.
Khalid, because we have little bit of challenge here, so can we go for the barcodes and for the web checker for accessibility till we manage to have my PC displayed on?
Okay.
Okay.
The
So
other
hi-
one is the other demo I wanted to show you guys is when I want to respect your own environment. So if you have a mobile where you have that mobile set to your own environment, which is a dark screen, large icons, whatever it is, right? I shouldn't be demanding you to have your own environment, baby, my way of doing. No, I should pamper your own environment. So what we came up with is the present live, where I can select that, present it to you. You have your mobile. There's a barcode. I ask you please to put the barcode in and read it from your mobile, and then you will have the presentation in your own mobile, from your own environment. And there's a subtitle there, and that subtitle will be
Yes.
will
Khalid,
be
can
in
we?
your own language.
Yes. Can we stop?
If you guys can
Yeah.
read if you
Yeah.
can scan that, I appreciate it.
Khalid, you hear me? I'm right.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
just a second. So all the audience try to have the barcode. In this case, you'll have the presentations from Khalid in English, and you have three dots under your screen. You can choose the preferred language for you. So if you need to have the translation in Urdu and French and English and Japanese, whatever, Chinese,
And-
so immediate translations regarding the caption or the speak of Khalid. So everyone in your mobile who managed to be on the meeting.
Can you
So
I
see
have
one,
22 people
two,
already.
22 people now joining the meetings, and you need to
23,
choose your preferred
yeah,
language
23.
right now.
Can we
Shall I go for
confirm
it?
that you can see the slides? Okay.
Can we go for the three dots on bottom of your screen and choose your language, preferred language? If it is Arabic, it's Chinese, Japanese, Urdu, whatever. So who changed a preferred language? Who managed to change?
You can
So,
see it.
so great. You can see it. I'm right? Good.
Shall I start?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm gonna start showing. As Muhammad said, you change the translation or the subtitle to your own language. So if I am presenting this, you'll see that PowerPoint in your screen in English, yet you're gonna get the subtitle in your own language. So for example, I'm gonna say examples of questions to ask your customer and partner. Where is digital accessibility and inclusion in your priorities? Second question should be, who is leading D&I and accessibility for your organization? Third question would be, how can Microsoft help with your D&I accessibility priorities? Second slide will be a table where
PowerPoint,
there is
yeah.
an
PowerPoint,
opportunity
yes.
by customer and region. There's the column of customer
have it.
status, product one, product two, product two. So that's in a nutshell one way
So isn't
of
that
doing it.
impressive? Do you like it? I was impressed when I saw that. So let's give it a hand.
Khalid, thank you so much,
Khalid.
Khalid.
Thank you very much.
No, you're
It's
welcome,
really
my friend.
impressive.
Khalid,
Let's do
let
now
us,
what I was telling you about, where I can present in English
yeah, but
and you
let
guys
us,
can
Khalid,
see it in
Khalid,
your own language.
Khalid, can we shift
Yeah?
gear to the accessibility checker? So any organization, any individuals, anyone, he need to check if his website, it is already for accessibility. Microsoft, we have a
Right.
tool, add-on, an age in the browser, and will give you exactly what needed to make your website or applications accessible. And it will give you also the gap of your website and the recommendation to fix it directly from one report. Khalid, go ahead on the please accessibility checker, please.
Right. So all of you can do that. It's free of charge. You can download it. You can go to any website, and if you have any specific website you want to test, I'm happy to test it. But keep in mind that it is live, so whatever website you choose, it has to be respectful for everybody. So that's our demo website, and we chose that on purpose because we make on purpose some mistakes to show people, but happy to show any website that you guys want to test. Let's take a look at, for example, create a list of Excel or lists. So I opened this website. Microsoft created this little window here, and they gave me this one. Is this an accessible site? Is this an accessible website? All I have to do is just click on the accessibility inside. It gives me three options. Either I do fast test to see if it is accessible, or I can go through an assessment list manually, and Microsoft will give you X amount of list. I'll show it to you in a minute, or we can do an ad hoc tools. Let's just quickly say fast. And Microsoft went through this and they said, hey, there is 12 issues for this website to be accessible, 12 issues, right? And in here, it highlights those 12 issues, right? And if you take a look at the first one, it gives you the error, and it gives you how to solve it, how to fix it. And it goes to the next one, how to solve it. There's 8 color contracts that for people with eye issues that is going to be not good, and it does not meet the WCAG 2AA standards. So take a look at that and be careful. And that's how you fix them. And in the end, and I can export that results. It creates it. You type whatever you want to type there. You export it. It creates an HTML file for you. That HTML file can be sent to your engineering or your developers, where you can show them all the stuff and they can take a look at it and fix it for you. So your website can be fixed within a second.
So this is another takeaway. So we address the PowerPoints, the second, themes and caption, and the third one, how to check your application and website to be accessible free. So please use it and try to adapt that what in your organization, your private company, your startup, whatever. So we'll have the questions. So we have a time for the questions now. Khalid, can we go also for the video?
That is not allowing me for some reason.
Okay.
I go to Microsoft Word, and it's not loading for some reason from my server.
Okay. So shall we open, because the caption still now, till now I cannot present my screen. So we'll take the questions till if we manage to fix it. And after that, we'll go back to you.
Okay. See, it's not loading the video.
So let us take questions.
Okay. So let's do caption.
Caption, we cannot do it, Khalid, because I cannot present my screen now. I cannot present my PC. So you need to try it from your side?
Sure, I can try it.
No, keep it.
Okay.
We'll take questions till we fix it.
Let's take. I think
We
we have
can-
a question.
We have a question.
تفضل.
Go ahead.
On the basis of accessibility, do you guys have tools that translate slides themselves live, not just speech to text? Slides, charts, it seems like a great tool.
Translate directly, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, Khalid, the questions is, we have a tool in Microsoft to translate websites in different language or not?
Now we have a translator, of course, right? And
Presentation, she asked about the presentations. So this
we
is
have this feature, but
we
I
have
don't know
these
why
features.
Muhammad is not able to show you.
Because the presentation was aiming the last demo piece. It is, he will present in English and you will see it on Arabic and Urdu and on the fly. And you
So
can,
let me ask you something, Muhammad. Where is your laptop? Is this your laptop on the table?
yes.
Okay, can you you have PowerPoint there, right? You have everything there. Can I do it where I present in English and you can pass your laptop across?
Okay, let's go.
Where they can.
Let's go.
Let's do it. So to answer your question, we have something called Present in Team. Once I click on this one, Present on Team, I will open it and just let me know if you see it.
I can see it, Khalid, yes.
Okay. And you can change the language now to Arabic and pass that laptop to the person who asked that question.
So you can find it in PowerPoint and in Teams, but then for websites, you need to use the translator because there is a translator.
And do you have it in Arabic?
No, Khalid, because you are presenting from my PC already, because this is my screen.
Ah, okay. Well, let me try something else. I can do 3 dots here. I can translate this slide to Arabic for you guys.
Okay.
How about that? Bingo. I just changed it to Arabic on the fly. You see it?
Yes, we can see the English one.
No, the Arabic. It should be Arabic now.
No, we don't see it, Khalid, because again, I'm presenting from my machine. It's so we don't have 2 machines.
Well,
sorry for that.
I will do a screenshot and put it. And
So the short answer for you, yes, and maybe we after the sessions we can demonstrate that one. So yes, we have the facility. Any more questions from the audience?
Thank you so much for for the demos and seeing these slides. We've been working with accessibility for some time, especially with the global brands. And one of the main challenges we do is we spend so much time on remediation, and to the point where we end up, finishing all the budgets and like just putting an accessibility statement out there saying, yeah, we're going to continuously working on that, and then, we never get to that point. So one of the main challenges is how we can think and push everyone to think about accessibility by design. Similar when GDPR came, like before that, we were always talking about privacy by design. Please take care of data privacy. And then we spent lots of budgets trying to be compliant with GDPR and the California Act and this kind of stuff. So how can we raise this awareness in the region to make sure everyone is having like digital accessibility by design, so you don't have to spend all your budget later on making legacy websites, accessible, and looking into the future is like, it's no-brainer. Make sure everything is accessible.
That's a very good question. It's on every one of us to think about accessibility. You don't have to spend your budget. The tools that we showed are part of the tools that you have already that you're using at home. Teams, Microsoft, other. Those are features within that. So for Microsoft, we built accessibility by design. It's in the principles of the design of any product. Now we need to shift the thinking for our community, because it's the end user who will have, before you send that email, before you send that PowerPoint, before you share that slide or even website. Check it for accessibility to make more people inclusive. And that's, I think, inclusivity is one of the elements that the DGA, the Digital Government Authority, evaluates some of the government websites. But it requires a lot of efforts, a lot of awareness from everyone, NGOs, governments, individuals, schools, universities, teachers, everyone.
And one more thing regarding what you just mentioned. Within Microsoft, it's not about only the tools. Like Khalid mentioned, it's about the awareness, about putting first the strategy, accessibility strategy for your organization. This is the first step. Second, how you'll educate people to, or recruit people to come first to your organizations. And after that, how we can educate people to deal with. Because I said it's two-way communications. It's not only one way from his side. So we need to make sure strategy, education, and third, like you mentioned, how to build the startup for disability. Now, yes, Khalid. So this is what you asked. So you managed to do that. So
actually,
finally,
I just did a screenshot to show them that when I presented in English, I switched it to Arabic, and that's how it looked like. For some reason, we could not show you live to do it, but we tested yesterday, and it was just working fine with the setup there. Unfortunately, but this is how it would look like if you make it Arabic for you when I'm presenting in English.
Excellent. Thanks,
Also,
Khalid.
I wanted to add to Zainab and Mohammed is we do three things in Microsoft. I'll tell you about what Microsoft we do. We have a mandatory training that is 2.5 hours and is free of charge for other companies, by the way. And there's a link there, and happy to share it with you. And they're gonna move it in November to LinkedIn Learning, but right now it's a standalone website. So we have this mandatory training. On top of that, Microsoft created a certificate. So if you get this training and you take the exam and you pass, then you get certificate on that. You can put it in your LinkedIn, in your profile, whatever. That's one thing. The other thing is Microsoft has for developers and for people, inclusive design guidelines, right? So we share that with you guys. Also, we have our own in the training. If you take it, we have what we call disability etiquettes. Whether you say person first and then the disability, or the disability first, and what is the allowed, what is not allowed, right? You cannot say he's a deaf man, or it's rough, or how you can word it, right? Some of our companies or departments, they enforce the accessibility checker with your email, with your documentation, your presentation, your Excel. So you cannot actually send anything without the accessibility checker is on, right? So there's ways. And at the end of the day, my friend, it's a journey, it's a culture. I used to be a marathon runner. I never thought about people with disabilities, shame on me. When I end up in a wheelchair, it's like the other side of the fence, right? It's like, So it's a learning and a culture, and alhamdulillah, Middle East is moving forward with that. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, for example, in a lot of our activities, they bring me to talk about accessibility, So it is start becoming visible. In UAE, they call it people of determination. That is, to me, is just awesome statement. So there is awareness, and it's coming. Happy to sit with you one-on-one to brainstorm how we push forward to your organization, if you like, out of passion. I don't, this is just a thing I'm doing out of passion.
Okay, thanks, Khalid. Any more questions? Anyone he need to ask anything in any language, so we can use the translator?
I wanted to show you two more things, actually, if you allow me, Mohammed.
Yes, please.
Khalid. I wanted to show you that not only that, we moved to a mobile kind of thing, right?
Please.
So, if you want to take a look at, we start building stuff. So let me see if I can do this, Muhammad.
I will do the introduction. This is Seeing AI, am right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting...
Till you fixed it and then you have it on your screen. This application, we built it within our engineer in Microsoft to see, and the one he built it, he's a disabled guy. He's a blind. So he built it and he developed it. It's called Seeing AI. If you open your mobile, go to the App Store and download the applications. And the Seeing AI, Khalid, he will demonstrate that now. It's just to help the blind people to have the easy life and getting also multiple features. Khalid, back to you, and let us see if you are.
It's basically, like Muhammad said, it was built by a person who is blind in Microsoft. And this is basically it. It is your eye is your lens of that camera. It can read text, it can read people, it can do dollar amount. If there's a dollar, you can take it, scan it. So when you get a change, you get the change. Muhammad, if you can just show me your face. Oh,
Yes.
You know what?
Okay,
I can do
just
that,
a
for example.
second.
Just for example, I will go
Yes,
here.
this is mine, Khalid.
Or you have your picture? Where are you? Okay, never mind. Let's say I am sitting with Muhammad and Muhammad is in front of me. I'm talking. I don't know who's this guy, right?
So now he's taking the first features about caption a picture from his daughter, from his wife, whatever. So the first time you take that one, you need to tag that one. It is, for example, Muhammad Saleh. And every time Muhammad Saleh, he will be on the applications, he can say Muhammad Saleh is smiling. Muhammad Saleh, my daughter, is playing football. So he has the EI capability to give him the sense of human, what they are doing right now. This is the first feature. By the way, this application is on a GitHub. Anyone, any organization, he need to download it and customize it, any language. So it is free. The source code is available and you can capitalize. We have 13 features and functions within that application. So,
Okay, so
43.
when I scanned his picture, Muhammad, it said 43-year-old man with black hair and a beard, looking happy, right?
It is
And
less
I
than
would
10
say
years
this, so
from my
each time you
older
would
Khalid.
recognize Muhammad, it would say, I can add to it that his name is Muhammad, his name is whatever. You see what I'm saying? So Muhammad, carry on.
Yeah.
And then me too.
The second thing's also one of the great features here, especially on the health, because I'm owning the health. I was part of that applications. So when the blind people sitting alone and he need to take a medication, you see, it's an easy, go and get your medication and take it. This is an easy for us. But for him, which medication, which drug I need to take right now? So the application, he will be reading either the text or the barcode of the drug. And also, we managed to make the dose. So he will say, this is antibiotic Augmentin, and by the way, your dose is 1, 2, 3 dose, you need to take it. So if it is Augmentin, is not the time, so he will remove the box aside, and he will try another one. So till he found the right box to take and the dose, he will listen for the dose. Khalid, can we show it or the?
I don't have actually anything with me, but
Okay.
Next time, inshallah. Here also there's tells you the environment in this one right there, what's going on there, and this one is the there's a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, I wish I can demo more, but I just want to let you know that we are actually doing that from a mobile point of view. I just tested this group transcribe with my wife yesterday, where actually she can join a conversation with me. I asked her to speak Arabic and I spoke English to her. And that's exactly what happened. I read what she said to me in English, and she reads what I said to her in Arabic.
Okay.
Immediately. So if we travel somewhere, we can use this application to actually communicate with each other.
Thanks, Khalid.
Another one is translator, right there. You asked me about translator.
You ask about the translator on the fly.
You can create a translation chat, and you speak English, I can speak Arabic, you speak Urdu, and we all can read each other's what we're saying in a text style. Believe it or not, Apple Watch, I tested it yesterday also. Apple Watch can do my translation for me and join the conversation that I was telling you about from my Apple Watch if I have to.
Thanks, Khalid.
So, yeah.
Thanks,
you know,
Khalid. So, any
Yeah.
more questions? We have 1 minute to go. 1 minute. Any more questions? So, me, Zainab, and Khalid, we are here to. Can you give the mic, please? And we are here if you need to have a further discussions. We are here based
Hello?
on Riyadh.
When you show the PowerPoint and translate to Arabic, it's not considered the layout. Can you update it or to be improve it to consider the layout?
It is already concept, but because he has had the screenshot, it's not the real PowerPoint.
Okay.
This is just a proof for you that it's already working.
Okay.
But it
Let's
is
look at feel.
yes,
we consider
left
that.
and right to left, and all that.
Thank you.
It actually flips it. We were trying to show two screens, and today we had a technical issue. We couldn't show Khalid Hazem's screen,
Okay.
but that's why he had to take a screenshot. It's very impressive. We were impressed when we say.
At
So
the end,
after my disease, I learned, my friend, to calm down. Nothing matters. If we couldn't, we couldn't.
at the end, I need to thank you, Khalid, for all the efforts you did for the last 2 weeks to prepare for that. And I'm asking Zainab to close, and it's closing for you.
Thank you all. And going back to what we started with, this conference is about AI. This session is about accessibility. And we had a very good question regarding how can we change the culture. The change starts with you, with every single one of us. We shouldn't wait for anyone there. Technology is there. It's the technology that you use every day. We just have to find out which parts of it to utilize and make the world more inclusive. It starts with you. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us.
So nowadays, I think we all believe that we're living in a digital world where all the digital data are recorded, collected, and used in all the intelligent systems. And in Huawei Cloud, we try to connect everyone in this intelligent world by turning these data into knowledge using our AI techniques. So a brief introduction about the Huawei Cloud's global AI and data R&D deployment. We have, as you can see, we have over 15 R&D centers in 4 continents, and we have over 5,000 R&D engineers, with 10% of them are equipped with the PhD degrees. So today I'm gonna mainly talking about our AI techniques in sensing the world, making decisions, and making plans. I'll briefly go through the overview here. So the first one is our Pangu large models. So as you can see, in the AI field nowadays, self-supervised learning has become a really hot topic, where from large-scale unlabeled data or raw data, you can ask a large model to learn the basic patterns from the data using self-supervised learning. Because previously in the supervised learning settings, you will require those heavy annotation data from human labels, which can be expensive and hard to scale. But nowadays, with self-supervised learning algorithms, we can directly train large-scale models from unlabeled data, which I think is hundreds or thousands times larger than the labeled data. So based on the self-supervised learning techniques, we have this Pangu series of model. So based on our Model R Studio platform, we train our models in several different fields, including computer vision, natural language processing, multimodal graph, and scientific computing. So we divide this Pangu model into 3 different levels. So for level 1, it's the most general model, which is basically trained using self-supervision from the general domain unlabeled data. Let's say in natural language processing, by general domain data, we mean like the news, the Wikipedia, and those very common text data. And for level 1, we think that general model is not enough, because for a specific domain, you will need knowledge from that domain. For example, if you're looking at financial data, or if you're looking at, let's say, law data, machine learning, that for a specific task, you have those labeled data, and you try to train your model to tackle that specific task. But nowadays, with the L0 and L1 models, with the self-supervised techniques, we can really reduce the number of labeled data required in this task-specific models, in this L2 models. So this is the basic architecture of Pangu model. So with this 3-level of Pangu model, we can do a lot of things, starting from sensing, right? So if you want to make intelligent decisions and you want to build an intelligent world, first you have to know what's going on in this world, right? You have to sense the things around you, sense the data, collect the data. So at this stage, let's say in computer vision, from a video, you probably have to recognize all the objects in this video, right? The traditional object detection task. So in the traditional development paradigm, you probably, for a specific object, you will train a specific model. And for every task, you will train a specific model. So let's say in this warehouse scenario, let's say you have to identify 9 different categories of objects. You probably have to train 9 different models. But now with the Pangu model, since we have the L0 and L1 model to extract those general knowledge from general domains, we can try to unify all these tasks in one model. So with the Pangu model, we can actually deal with all the object detection scenarios in this warehouse with just one model. So, so for our practice, we joined the we achieved a partnership with the Shanghai Pudong Development Bank to build this Bank of Things model for them, mainly based on our computer vision model in this Pangu series. And now, with the data collected from the sensing model, we can it can support us to make decisions, right? So like in this, with our Pangu graph model, we can do this enterprise financial risk control application. So basically, we try to detect the abnormal behaviors from the financial data to find those frauds and to detect those financial risks. So with the Pangu model, since we have the general knowledge from L0 and L1, we can, first of all, we can tackle the few shot problem, which means in this field, you only have very few samples labeled by people. And at the same time, the label can be really unbalanced, right? So from all these financial data, probably only 2% of them are abnormal behaviors. But with the Pangu model, we can now tackle the few shot problem and the label unbalance problem and really improve the accuracy to over 90%. And also, we can reduce the tuning workload by 90% because of the pre-training from self-supervised learning algorithms. And third thing is that we try to apply Pangu for a common good. Like we are deploying a series of scientific computing models in this one. Like we have different topics like weather prediction, medicine, and aero, and the ocean and industry. So why do we need AI techniques in this traditional scientific computing problem? Because previously, when you try to tackle these scientific computing problems, you have a series of equations, right? And if you try to solve these equations, you probably need a supercomputer and to go through all these equations and to get the final result. But now with AI techniques, since we have abundant data, the historical data from this field, we can directly using AI models to make predictions for us. And this very fast, it's way faster than the traditional ways. Like in this ocean wave detection problem, previously even with a supercomputer, it requires 2 days to solve all the equations and to get the predictions. But now with a Pangu scientific computing model, it only requires less than 1 second. So this is a huge difference. Let's say in weather prediction, if you can predict the weather within an hour or within a minute, it can make a huge difference, especially to let's say agriculture and other risk control things. So the real-time property of AI techniques is a huge advantage compared with the traditional ways for scientific computing. And after sensing and decision making, we also want to make planning, right? So if you attended our yesterday's task force on AI for transportation, we have introduced some of our practices in how we apply the Pangu model in how to optimize and plan for the transportation. But actually, we have more cases in this scenario. So we have this Optverse AI solver, which is basically a planning and optimization tool based on AI, and we have applied it in many real-world applications. Aside from transportation, we also have some other like financial investment and production planning, and the airport, and this port planning, these different optimization and planning problems in industry. So this is a basic overview of our practice in Pangu model. So before you all fall asleep of boredness, I will introduce my colleague to bring you some detailed introduction in our practice in metaverse using the Pangu model, including the digital human and natural language processing. So I'll pass the mic to my colleague. 这个是前进，这个是后退。
我的 PPT 呢？ Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Li Yin, and from the Huawei Cloud Company. And today, I'd like to share with you an interesting topic about how we use AI to empower the metaverse solution. Okay. So in this topic, I'd like to talk about two elements. The first is the digital human, and the other is the AI assistant design. Perhaps most of you are already familiar with digital human. Digital humans are AI-powered human beings, human-like beings. They are virtual beings, but will offer the best of both AI and computer conversation. With the rise of the concept of the metaverse in 2021, the digital human becoming heating up because under the pandemic and the smartphone application, most of people like to do the communications on the medium, on the internet. So there needs a lot of scenarios about the digital human. For example, in the virtual assistants, maybe previously, when you do some business into the bank, you have to go to the branches of the bank. But currently, you just can do it on the internet. Here needs a virtual digital human to help you to do your business. Maybe the virtual digital human will know you better than your VIP account customer. Okay, so this is a virtual assistant, and the other is a virtual anchor. Maybe sometimes an anchor just can speak one language, but they cannot change the different language from the multiple country. But with the digital human, it can speak the different languages, even the sign languages. So it is very useful. And the other scenario is that when you visit the Palace Museum, maybe you can get the Emperor Qianlong as your tour guidance. So it will tell you the history of the Forbidden City. So because I'm from China, I'd like you all of you will have the opportunities to come to China and to visit the Palace Museum to see our digital human tour guide. Okay, and maybe some of you have an adult, right? I have an adult too. Recently, a Korean company have released an adult digital human. So this is Kim Soo-hyun, who is a top famous actor in Korea. But currently, everyone can have an adult digital human to take the market of the media. So this is most of the scenarios about the digital human. And last year, Huawei Cloud already launched our own digital human. She is called Sarah, and the English name is Yunsheng. We use her as a virtual employee to do some things like us. Okay. So to here, I'd like to share a story. 2 years ago, the author of the Bank 4.0 Break King came to China, and he told us a very interesting thing for the bank service. He told us that when you go to new branches, the branch of the bank, you will have your digital human account manager. And as she talks with you, she can analyze real time about the conversation with you. And at the same time, she will combine the historical data from the bank's database with the real-time conversation. So in this way, the account manager, the virtual account manager, will know you better. So previously, I think this scenario is very similar, fiction, like a science fiction film. But currently, all of these things have become reality one by one. So I think it is fantastic. So here it comes the questions. What steps does it take to make the digital human as your friends, or as your idol, or as your account manager? Yes, it have taken 4 steps. The first step is the muscle modeling. It means that you have to customize the clothes, the sound, the face of your digital human. And secondly, you have to do the information acquisition. Maybe this is difficult because you have to give the digital human a powerful and a strong brain, so they can understand the facial expressing from you, and your dialogue and your languages. So maybe this needs some large models inside it, like the NLP models and the multimodal model. And the third step is the reasoning decision. In like the story right now I talked about, why the virtual account manager can combine the historical data and the real-time conversation, because she already collects all of the information from you. She already builds a very powerful knowledge graph. So in this way, she can search the different keywords among the knowledge graph. So this is a reasoning decision. But when we get that, it is not enough. At last, we have to let the digital human to do the action execution. For example, when you give the digital human some input, she has to give you the corresponding output. She has to give you the facial expression, the proper verbals, the proper dialogues with you. So this is the last step. It is action execution. For us, we already use large models inside it to give the digital humans some powers to give you the corresponding response. Okay, I'm sorry. So, but for us to finish the 4 steps is very difficult because there is a lot of technologies inside it. So, last month, Huawei Cloud have released the digital human platform to help us to create the digital humans ourselves. It not just have the graphics engine to customize the face, the clothes, and the characteristics of the digital human, but also we put some secret sauce inside it. It is the Pangu large models. Right now, Dr. Gu have talked about the different layers of large models. And now we can see it, how we use it in the digital human. Because we have to understand the digital human style, language. And after we understand the language, we have to let the digital human to give some proper response. All of this is processed by the NLP large models. Except that, we also have to understand the facial expression about the digital human. In this way, we have to use the multimodal model to understand the expression and change the expression to the languages, and then we can feedback about the languages. Okay, so this is a platform about the digital human. And here, I'd like to talk something about Pangu NLP large models. We released it in April last year, and it have a very huge parameter, about 100 million parameters. So it have a very powerful capabilities to understand your language, and also it can generate the different languages, both the Chinese, the English, and the Arabic. Currently, we already make an Arabic NLP large models. Maybe you will see it in the end of this year. Okay, so let's go to next element about the AI assistant design. In metaverse, there is different scenarios. We have to use the AI power to do the design. I'd like to share experience of myself. Recently, I moved into a new house, but I think I need a painting to haunting in my living room, because you see, this is my orange sofa. It is very hard to go with any painting. But last month, when I do the video conference with a Singapore customer, I noticed that just behind her there is a beautiful painting. There is a very lovely fox under the forest. I think the forest is also orange, and the color is the same go with my sofa. So I just want to draw such a painting myself. So I just directly input some keywords: the fox, the the plant forest to our multimodal model. And then it generated 4 images for me for inference. And after I see that, I get a lot of inspiration. And I just finished this drawing within 2 hours. I think it is fantastic because previously when I want to draw a painting, it cost me a lot of time to think about how do I use the colors, how do I draw the different elements in the paintings. All of this have taken a lot of time. But this time it just takes 2 hours to finish this. And I think this painting goes very well with my orange sofa. So after this, I have tried another input into our multimodal model. And I have tried, I have tried postmodern style, colorful, and hazy cat. And secondly, I used the fox and a starry night. And I also put a punk style soldier. Previously, when we talk about all of these themes, maybe they are not go with each other very well. It is unnatural. It is illogic in the real world. Maybe they are all of the surreal scenarios will occur in the scientific fiction. But currently, when we use AI to join all of these elements together, they seem to combine with each other naturally. So I think it is very useful and very imagine. Previously, I cannot imagine such a scenario that I can join so many elements that do not do with each other very well. But currently, the AI have do. Okay. And after this, I also tried other models from the different vendors. The 3 vendors, yes. The first is, I just put the same keywords, the robot lover, but they have generated totally different pictures. For example, the first pictures is very suitable for the game creators. So these scenarios usually occurred in the games. And the second is suitable for teaching the children to do the drawing. And the third is suitable for the illustrator. So from this experience, I think the operation on the text-to-image generator is very important because we have to divide the different users to different groups, and we have to let them to build different communities. So in this way, it will build a closed loop that can loop the data, the large models, and the operator platforms together to make a closed loop. So in this way, the large models will incorporate more and more data and will generate the themes to the community, just to the dedicated industry of the users. So next, I will talk about the text-to-image generators used in industry. Perhaps I see there is a lot of ladies in the site. I am a woman too, but I think I'm very likely to go shopping. Maybe most of you have heard about Shein. The Shein is a very famous fast fashion brand these 2 years, and it have increased a lot just in these 2 years. But how do it can achieve such a goal that can deliver a clothes from the designing to delivery just cost 2 weeks? Just cost 2 weeks. It is not imagined previously. Previously, when the vendor have to give you a new fashion, it have to cost at least 1 month to do this work. But Shein just cost 2 weeks. Inside it, they have used a lot of AI technologies. the first, they have to use the AI technologies to do the trend forecast. No, whether the images from the internet or from our live show, from the live show photos, they have to deal with huge amounts of the data. And the second is the AI assistant design. Maybe some of the designers will encounter the same difficulties that I encountered when I draw a painting. Sometimes they will lose the inspiration, so they need AI to give them some new ideas about how to design fashion. And the third step is copyright protection. Maybe you cost a lot of time to get inspiration. You do not want your design is stolen by others. So the intellectual property protection is very important. Currently, we use the technology of searching from picture to pictures to find who have stolen your design on the copyright protection. And the last stage is that the accelerator production. Especially in the fast fashion, maybe sometimes you know what you get, the clothes have poorer qualities. You do want to get higher qualities clothes. So right now, Dr. Gu have talked about the different layers of the large models. Currently, we use computer vision large models to automatically generate small models to do the inspection quality on the product lines. So in this way, all of the quality of the clothes can be assured by the AI technology. Okay, so right now I talk about the fast fashion, but currently I also want to share with you some scenarios about the haute couture. You know, the haute couture must do the customization based on the VIP customers. In China, a lot of large brands have released such services. They call it semi-customization. It means that in their store, there will be a lot of basic models for you to choose. After you choose a basic model, you can change the style. Maybe you can tell the designers that we want to change the short sleeves to longer sleeves, or we want to longer the skirt by 10 inches, or we want to change the colors from black to pink, all of this. But you know, it is just the imagine from the customer brands. Maybe when you made such a couture, it did not satisfy her or his or her requirement, because she just described it from the language. She have not seen it. In Chinese, we talk about the seeing is the believing. So currently, we use a multimodal model to generate the changing about the customer's requirements. For example, she will give you some languages to describe the changes she wants. And after that, we will input all of the keywords into the multimodal model. And at last, the multimodal will generate a series of the style for the customers to choose. So in this way, she will be sure what she wants. You know, and with the multimodal model, the store do not need a designer anymore. Just the sales can be act as a designer. So in this way, the semi-customer designed service can be conducted on hundreds of the stores for just a brand. Okay, so this is used in the haute couture. Besides this, we also have to control the elements accurately for the different customers. Big brands every season will release their capsule style. What is capsule style? It is some of the innovation style that can show the brand's taste. But maybe it is not the popular state for the customers. Most of the customers like to change the things that can keep stability for them, just have a little changes. right? For all of you, maybe you just want to change something that you have get inhabited to it, not the capsule styles. So in this way, we have to find the proportion of the steady and the variable. How do we distribute the steady and the variable on the scale? It is a difficult problem for the designers. Currently, after we have used AI technology to do the labeling on the historical data, and we know very well each customer's want, so we can give the precise recommendation to the designers that to how many traditional design should be inside a cartoon, or how many innovative design for a cartoon. So in this way, the designer can be assisted by data and by AI. So this is a practice in China. And okay, so that's all of my sessions. And I don't know if you are interested with it. If you are interested with it, you can contact with me off the stage, or you also can send email, contact me with the email. Thank you.